Shalom, I'm Eddie Chumney of Hebraic Heritage Ministries, and we welcome you to this week's Focus Israel Report. In this week's report, we're going to share with you regarding the Israeli city of Tel Aviv. If you ever go to the land of Israel, you will ultimately pass through the city of Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is the second most populous city in Israel, with a population of over 404,000 people. It was founded in 1909 by the Jewish community of Jaffa on the outskirts of the ancient port city. The growth of Tel Aviv soon outpaced Jaffa, which had a majority Arab population at the time. Tel Aviv and Jaffa were merged into a single municipality in 1950, 2 years after the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948. In the 1860s, Jaffa's small Sephardic Jewish community was joined by Jews from Morocco and small numbers of European Ashkenazi Jews, making by 1882 a total Jewish population of more than 1,500 people. The first Jews to build outside of Jaffa in the area of modern-day Tel Aviv were Yemenite Jews. Tel Aviv is known as the city that never sleeps. It is a popular tourism destination on the Mediterranean with 2.7 million international visitors annually. It is renowned for its 24-hour culture, beaches, bars, restaurants, cafes, parks, shopping, cosmopolitan lifestyle, and landmark neighborhoods such as Old Jaffa and Neve Zedek. Tel Aviv is an economic hub, home to the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, corporate offices, and research and development centers. It is the country's financial capital and a major performing arts and business center. Tel Aviv has the second largest economy in the Middle East and is the 19th most expensive city in the world. It is the 9th best beach city in the world as judged by National Geographic. Tel Aviv is the Hebrew title of Theodor Herzl, the father of the modern Jewish state. It is the Hebrew title of his Old New Land, translated from German by Nahum Sokolow. Sokolow had adapted the name of a Mesopotamian site in Ezekiel in chapter 3 verse 15, which says, "Then I came to them of the captivity of Tel Aviv that lived by the river Habor, and to where they lived, and I sat there overwhelmed among them 7 days." Aviv in Hebrew means spring. It symbolizes renewal, and Tel is a man-made mound accumulating layers of civilization built one over the other and symbolizing the ancient. The beginning of modern-day Tel Aviv is marked by the construction of Neve Zedek, a neighborhood built by Ashkenazi settlers between 1887 and 1896. The second migration of people to Israel led to further expansion. In 1906, a group of Jews, among them residents of Jaffa, followed the initiative of Akiva Ari Weiss and banded together to form the Ahazat Bait, literally the Homestead Society. The society's goal was to form a Hebrew urban center in a healthy environment planned according to the rules of aesthetics and modern hygiene. In 1908, the group purchased 5 hectares or 12 acres of dunes northeast of Jaffa. Following this purchase, Meir Dizengoff, who later became Tel Aviv's first mayor, decided to join this society. His vision for Tel Aviv involved peaceful coexistence with the Arabs. Eventually, David Ben-Gurion would announce the creation of the State of Israel on May the 14th, 1948, from Meir Dizengoff's home in Tel Aviv. In April 1909, 66 Jewish families gathered on a desolate sand dune on what is now Rothschild Boulevard to parcel out the land by lottery using seashells. The gathering is considered the official date of the establishment of Tel Aviv. Within a year, a water system was installed and 66 houses, including some on 6 subdivided plots, were completed. At the end of Herzl Street, a plot was allocated for a new building for the Herzliya Hebrew High School, founded in Jaffa in 1906. On the 21st of May 1910, the name Tel Aviv was adopted. By 1914, Tel Aviv had grown to more than 247 acres, or 1 square kilometer. However, growth halted in 1917 when the Ottoman Empire of Turkey, their authorities, expelled the Jews of Jaffa and Tel Aviv. Under British administration, political friction between Jews and Arabs in Palestine increased. On May 1st, 1921, the Jaffa riots erupted and an Arab mob killed dozens of Jewish residents. In the wake of this violence, many Jews left Jaffa for Tel Aviv, increasing the population of Tel Aviv from 2,000 in 1920 to around 34,000 by 1925. New businesses opened in Tel Aviv, leading to the decline of Jaffa as a commercial center. Tel Aviv gained municipal status in 1934. The population rose dramatically during the fifth return of Jews when the Nazis came to power in Germany. As the Jews fled Europe, many settled in Tel Aviv, bringing the population in 1937 to 150,000. Many new immigrants remained after disembarking in Jaffa, turning the city into a center of urban life. A local port independent of Jaffa was built in 1938, and Lydda Airport, later known as Ben Gurion Airport, was opened between 1937 and 1938. When Israel declared independence on May 14, 1948, the population of Tel Aviv was over 200,000. Tel Aviv was the temporary government center of the State of Israel until the government moved to Jerusalem in December of 1949. Due to the international dispute over the status of Jerusalem, most foreign embassies remain in or near Tel Aviv. In the early 1980s, 13 embassies in Jerusalem moved to Tel Aviv as a part of the United Nations measures responding to Israel's 1980 Jerusalem law. Today, all but 2 embassies are in Tel Aviv. Over the past 60 years, Tel Aviv has developed into a secular, liberal-minded center with a vibrant nightlife and cafe culture. Tel Aviv's population peaked in the early 1960s at 390,000, representing 16% of the country's total. A long period of steady decline followed, however, and by the late 1980s, the city had an aging population of 317,000 people. High property prices pushed families out and deterred young people from moving in. In the early 1990s, the decline in population was reversed, partly due to the large wave of immigrants from the former Soviet Union. Tel Aviv also began to emerge as a high-tech center. The construction of many skyscrapers and high-tech office buildings followed. In 1993, Tel Aviv was categorized as a world city. The city is regarded as a strong candidate for global city status. Tel Aviv is divided into 9 districts that have formed naturally over the city's short history. On November 4th, 1995, Israel's Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated at a rally in Tel Aviv in support of the 1993 Oslo Peace Accords. The outdoor plaza where this occurred was renamed Rabin Square. Since the first Intifada, or Palestinian uprising, Tel Aviv has suffered from Palestinian political violence. The first suicide attack in Tel Aviv occurred 19th of October 1994 on Line 5 bus when a bomber killed himself and 21 civilians as part of a Hamas suicide campaign. The most deadly attack occurred on June 1st, 2001 during the second Intifada when a suicide bomber exploded, killing 21 and injuring more than 100. The most recent attack in the city occurred on April 17, 2006, when 9 people were killed and at least 40 wounded in a suicide bombing near the Old Center bus station. In 2009, Tel Aviv celebrated its official centennial. Tel Aviv is located on the Israeli Mediterranean coastline in central Israel, the historic land bridge between Europe, Asia, and Africa, immediately north of the ancient port of Jaffa. Tel Aviv lies on a land that used to be sand dunes and as such has relatively poor soil fertility. The city is located 60 kilometers or about 37 miles northwest of Jerusalem and 90 kilometers or 56 miles south of the city of Haifa. The northern side of Tel Aviv is a home to Tel Aviv University. Tel Aviv has a Mediterranean climate with hot, humid summers, unpredictable springs and autumns, and cool, rainy winters. Humidity tends to be high year-round due to ocean breeze. In winter, average temperatures are usually between 9 degrees centigrade and 17 degrees centigrade, while temperatures as low as 6 centigrade and as high as 20 degrees centigrade, occurring several times a winter. In summer, the average temperature is between 24 degrees centigrade and 30, which is 75 degrees Fahrenheit and 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Tel Aviv averages 530 millimeters, or about 21 inches of rain annually, which mostly occurs in the months of October through April. Winter is the wettest season, often accompanied by heavy showers and thunderstorms. Snow is extremely rare, with the last recorded snowfall within city limits occurring in February of 1950. Tel Aviv enjoys plenty of sunshine throughout the year, with more than 300 sunny days annually. Tel Aviv is ranked as the greenest city in Israel. Since 2008, city lights are turned off annually in support of Earth Hour. Tel Aviv has a population of 404,000 people over a land area of 52,000 dunams. According to the Israeli Center of Bureau Statistics, as of 2009, Tel Aviv's population is growing at an annual rate of 0.5% a year. Jews of all backgrounds form 92% of the population. Muslim and Arab Christians make up 4%, and the remainder belong to other groups, including various Christian and Asian communities. As Tel Aviv is a multicultural city, many languages are spoken in addition to Hebrew. According to Tel Aviv-Yafo municipality, the average income in the city is 20% above the Israel national average. Today, the city's population is young and growing. It is expected to reach 450,000 by 2025. The city has its fair share of houses of worship, including 544 active synagogues with daily prayers, including historic buildings such as the Great Synagogue established in the 1930s. In 2008, a Center for Secular Jewish Studies and a secular yeshiva opened in the city. The population consists of 93% Jewish, 1% Muslim, and 1% Christian. The remaining 5% are not classified by religion. Tel Aviv was built on sand dunes in an area unsuitable for farming. Instead, the city developed as a center of business and scientific research. The city has been called a flourishing technological center by Newsweek and a miniature Los Angeles by The Economist. In 1998, the city was described by Newsweek as one of the top 10 most technologically influential cities in the world. Since then, high-tech industry in the Tel Aviv area has continued to develop. The Tel Aviv metropolitan area is Israel's center of high-tech, sometimes referred to as the Silicon Wadi. Tel Aviv is home of the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, Israel's only stock exchange. Many international venture capital firms, scientific research institutes, and high-tech companies are headquartered in the city. Industries in Tel Aviv include chemical processing, textile plants, and food manufacturers. The city's nightlife, cultural activities, and architecture attract tourists whose spending benefits the local economy. The cost of living in Israel is high, with Tel Aviv being its most expensive city to live in. With 2.7 million international visitors annually, Tel Aviv is a popular tourism destination. It is known as the city that never sleeps and a party capital due to its thriving nightlife, young atmosphere, and famous 24-hour culture. Tel Aviv has 44 hotels with more than 6,500 rooms. The beaches of Tel Aviv play a major role in the cultural and touristic scene in the city, often ranked as some of the best beaches in the world. Tel Aviv is famous for its wide variety of world-class restaurants offering traditional Israeli dishes. Tel Aviv has become an international city of fashion and design. Tel Aviv is Israel's major center of culture and entertainment. The city often hosts both international and local pop and rock concerts. The three largest newspapers in Israel, Yediat Ahron, Ma'ariv, and Haaretz, are all based within the city limits. Tel Aviv's major institutions for higher education is Tel Aviv University. It is the largest university of Israel. Together with Bar Ilan University, the student population numbers over 50,000. So, if you ever go to Israel, you will go through the city of Tel Aviv, and this will give you a background to know a little bit more what the city is like. Well, this concludes this week's Focus Israel report. Until we do it again, Shalom in Yeshua the Messiah. Amen.